All right, we are live. Thank you for being here, and this is what we call the Nerdgasm episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It's great to be here with you. I'm just keeping my eyes on the live stream as soon as that pops up. But what is important about this episode is I will be answering some of your big techie questions.
And I won't.
All right, yeah. But we do have some other chapters and some segments that we're going to be sharing with you that I'm very excited about. So what I want to do is just make sure that we are, in fact, running the correct stream right now. So what I'm going to do is just double check in the background here.
All right, and while Mike's doing that, I'm just going to share with you some of the things that we're going to talk about today. So first of all, some of you have asked some great questions that are 100% tech nerd questions. Mike's going to be covering all of those. We also have some new promotional stuff, and so we did something about 3 weeks ago that we want to share with you in terms of a way to get people to get on and attend live on your broadcast. So how to get people to attend, how to get people to show up, and how to get people to actually engage and interact online. And so all those things are going to be available for you today as well. By the way, as you're getting in here, make sure that you put your questions below as we get going. We get to a point in each show, Mike, where there's a question limit, and we get to the end. And so now's the time to get your questions in. Don't wait till later because we may have to move this to another episode. You ready to go?
Right. Well, I think I am. I'm going to just double check one other thing here because the video that's supposed to be embedded does not appear to be embedded.
I'm not seeing anything here either.
Yeah.
All right, tell you what, if you're listening right now, just hang with us. We're going to switch to a new server, and we'll be right back with you.
are live. It's great to be here today with you.
Yeah?
This is
The
what we
Nerdgasm.
call the Nerdgasm episode. And one of the things that I just noticed here is when we get going, our display that's connected to my laptop isn't working right. And I'll tell you what.
So welcome to the show.
Yeah.
We're going to be taking your questions all day. Actually, when I say we, what I really mean is Mike's going to be taking your nerd questions today. I don't do the tech ones. I'm going to do the marketing ones. Speaking of marketing, we do have a strategy that we used, I don't think about 3 weeks ago, that you're going to love. It's something new that we've been doing, and it has significantly increased the number of people who attend our live broadcast. In other words, not register, but attend.
Right.
And it's significantly increased our interaction on our webcast, too.
Definitely
so we're going to see that as well.
So this is fantastic. You know what I'm probably going to do here is when this machine comes up, I'm going to actually going to think about what I'm going to do here for you. I'll be the first one to say you get to see us warts and all right now,
All right.
as we get our hardware behaving.
So in the meantime, we're going to take your questions. There's typically a time in every webcast. We usually do this for about an hour and 15 minutes or so. So there's a time in every webcast where we get to the point at which we can't answer all the questions that we've got. So now's a great time to get your questions in. We've got some great questions. And so I saw some questions in here from Rich Moore and from some other folks that are really good technical questions. We've also got some promotional questions that we'll cover here in just a little bit as well. And so make sure that you get that in. You do that by clicking right below the screen inside of your membership portal and asking your questions. I can see that there's a whole bunch of folks who are just starting to put their questions in there right now. So so go ahead and do that. And are you ready to go? Or you want to
Just about. I had to switch up my hardware here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask my team, can you see my screen? Can you? You can or cannot?
All right, so while Mike's working on the other bit of his slides right now, I'll give you two more announcements. These were later on in the presentation anyway, so we might as well just cover them right now, which is this. October 2nd through the 4th, put that on your calendar. That's our live event. Right now, since you're a Webcast Profit Toolkit member, you get access into the live event for a significantly discounted rate. That's what you get as a benefit to your membership inside of this program. And so I think general admission tickets are like $97 or something like that. So you get to come, you get to bring a business partner, a spouse, significant other, somebody who's maybe an accountability partner of yours in business. Highly recommend that you get those seats now. We have two things going for you there, which is number one, the seats are limited at the live event, which is significant. And so we've given you tickets, but that window doesn't stay open forever, so make sure that you get your seat for that. The second thing is, as Webcast Profit Toolkit members, you're going to have a priority for what we call our marketing panels. We're going to start mailing out, we just decided yesterday what those panels are going to be, and we're going to start mailing out invitations to apply to those marketing panels. When we send those invitations out, those go to the people who are registered for the event, not just the people inside a Webcast Profit Toolkit. And so you're going to want to save your seat. Even if you're not totally sure what you're doing in October, you're going to want to register, save your seat, make sure that you've confirmed your attendance. That way you get an invitation to be on those panels, which is an incredible opportunity to get some exposure for you as a marketer as well. Okay, we'll give you some website links for that. I'll just tell you, if you can remember it, it's mixiv, mixiv.com/general for a regular ticket, and it's mixiv.com/VIP if you're a VIP and you want dinner with Mike and I and you want to hang out in the front row with the front seats. All right?
Excellent.
Now are you ready to rock and roll?
I am ready to rock and roll.
I find it we didn't do this on purpose, by the way, on our Nerdgasm show. It just happens.
Once in a while it
These things happen. And we taught you this. I mean, these things happen. So it's part of life. All right.
All right. Well, in the meantime, I am going to have to vary some of my approaches here. I got to plug in my remote control too. But one thing that I will be doing is my team will be displaying my screen periodically while we're moving here. But I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the nerd questions that we're going to be sharing with you today. So the first one, if you take a look at my screen, if you'd cut to that, please, team. So we're going to talk about some super techie questions that you might have. I'll actually be going into the portal. The other one is an upcoming segment, which we call its advanced video training. And I'm going to just show you a little preview of that. It might be a little bit chunky because I'm actually sending this video to you wirelessly right now.
Kind of like your Aunt Maud.
Yeah,
Sorry.
just kind of like, yeah. Poor Aunt Maud. So if you can just show that off, let's just see if that's moving along here. This is a couple shots from our control room, but one of the things that you will see periodically is we have put together a documentary, and it's going to be up about 48 hours from the time that this video is running. And what we are going to have inside this for you is a complete step-by-step walkthrough of our entire studio and our system. And this was produced over a period of about a half a day, edited down, so you can actually see our most complex system. So if you've ever wondered how we run a big show, how we do our interviews, how the multi-camera switches work, and go in studio versus if you either attended or watched our actual masterclass of the Webcast Profit Toolkit, this is going to give you a more in-depth view of what's possible. Now, I'll be the first one to say this is it's detailed, it's techie, and I did it because a lot of people asked for it. So it might not be for you right now. My goal is not to overwhelm, but again, to just show you the breadth of what's possible. So if all you're doing right now is working with a webcam and either Webinar Jam or Google Hangouts, that's totally fine, okay? But if you want to kind of step up and see what is possible for you in the future or working with a bigger team, or if you want to come in and actually spend some time in our studio here, I just want to give you a taste of what's possible. So that was really the intent of that.
Yeah.
Okay? So the other thing is we are going to be spending some time with raffles, both Ed and I.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I'm going to just ask is as we move through this, what I'm going to be doing today is actually producing a mini segment for you about raffles, rather Ed and I will.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the benefits of those, but we're going to record it as a mini segment so you'll see how we are actually producing content within content. This will make more sense as we move along.
This is basically what we do when we give things away, essentially, throughout our show, and we're going to explain the psychology behind that and how we do it.
So, just a couple things, and if we'd show our screen here, why raffles are so important. The reason why we're covering those, number one, is it's a way to get more registrations. It's a way to get greater attendance for your live events. It's a way to keep the audience focused on you and what is going on. And it also provides a heavy degree of a stick-around factor. In other words, giving people a reason to stick around, to be there with you for the entire live promotion. All right? So the other thing that I want to tell you about is inside the Facebook community. And I will be the first one to say that the Facebook community is right now just going crazy. There's so much great activity. But if you take a look at the slide right now, this is something that Rich Moore talks about. He actually has put together his own Webcast strategy show. And he's got a little video describing what he's doing. And he's getting some great comments, some great feedback. And it looks to me like he's probably using Wirecast to produce this. So congrats to you, Rich, on doing that. That's really cool. The next thing I have here for you, if you take a look at this slide, please, is the Logitech 920. Well, Dave Pittman actually did his own hardware test, and he got a lot of comments already, but he's testing out and demonstrating step-by-step how a variety of different cameras work. So he's using a webcam, he's using a normal camera, and he's also using a built-in webcam that's inside his Mac. So I thought that was really cool. Again, it just shows the level of commitment that's inside the community right now. I'm very, very excited about that. Next, if you take a look at this slide, this is one with Andy Falco, and he is actually deconstructing a webcast that he did. And I actually went to the video. It was the essential oils for dogs. He did this thing with the Healthy Dog Network, and what he ended up doing is it was pretty clear that a whole bunch of things that he started doing weren't working very well. And in his deconstruction that he provided in the membership site, talked about how when he got there, some of his microphones didn't work, so he ended up working with a handheld mic. Yeah. Okay? And I got to tell you, I watched segments of his video. I didn't watch the entire thing. But the link is available inside the membership, or rather in the Facebook community. Definitely check out what some of the other members are doing, what they're struggling with, and how they learn. Because I'll be the first one to say, you're not going to be perfect your first time around. And depending on the complexity of your production,
or your 1,230th
things just
time
might
around.
not work, okay? And look, it happens to us. In fact, it happened to us today. We're starting out here. I had a couple cables fell apart. We had a microphone not work. And some of my monitors that I normally have working, for some reason, aren't talking to one of our switchers. So, it just happens. And what's most important is that you just show up and you do your best and you improvise. And sometimes, as the old saying goes, the show must go on.
Yeah.
Okay? So I understand that, and it's how Andy dealt with it that's important. And remember, so you struggle once in a while, you just get back up. It's just one of those things that happens, okay? Now, here's another thing. If you take a look at this screen here, this was posted by Chuck Boyce in the membership community. Let's switch to that, please. Okay, and Chuck just was saying, I was thinking about setting up an over-the-shoulder camera and streaming shot. If we can switch over to the computer again, please.
It didn't come up.
Okay. Yeah, it was up just a moment ago. He says, I was thinking about setting up an over-the-shoulder camera shot, streaming it live on a separate page, and for next week. And bottom line is the community said, look, that sounds great. So I thought it was really cool that he said, he checked into that, he got some feedback, he got some support from members of the community, and they said, hey, let's go for it, man. This is really cool. So I'm really, really impressed and happy that not only Chuck got in here, but if you take a look at this, it got seen by a whole bunch of people, and everyone's saying, yes, do it, yes, do it. So the whole point is Chuck is producing shows right now, charging for it, and he's going to give you a chance to check it out. And I just think that just, again, goes to show the spirit of the community is so strong. So with that, what we're going to do right now is Ed and I are actually going to make a segment for you. It's called Prizes and Raffles. Now, we talked about prizes and raffles during the master class, but since teaching that, we've actually learned a whole lot more.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do is break this down right now for you and with you, and as a result, we're going to break this segment up. So what we're doing is we're obviously giving you the training, but I'm also turning this into a standalone segment. So we're going to perform this for you with a short break. So I'm going to take this webcam down because I'm looking inside the monitor here to make sure everything looks okay. I'm going to check in with my team, make sure, is everything working in there, please? Yeah. Okay, great. Right. So what we'll be doing is you'll see the slide periodically. We're going to break this up. We're going to do 5 claps, and when we finish with this segment, we're going to get into what we call the Nerdgasm questions, okay? Those are going to be answering some of the technical questions that have been popping up. So with that, you ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Okay, good. So I'm going to turn my screen because one of our monitors isn't displaying properly today. Again, we're improvising for you. Yeah, so what we're going to do here is begin. I'm going to do 5 claps. That'll create a marker for our production team to begin, and then we're going to record that segment, and this will be uploaded separately inside the membership site. So if we're ready to rock and roll, guys, you ready to rock? Yeah. Okay, here we go. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, you ready to go?
Yeah,
we're
let's
going to be talking about raffles and prizes in this segment.
Talk about giving stuff away.
We are. And here's the biggest benefit to working with raffles and prizes. First of all, I do want to say that this module alone can earn you an additional $5,000 to $10,000 the first time you use it. And you can take a look at the slides here. Let's display those right now on the screen, please.
Keyword.
It's not working. All right.
Keyword, use it. So let me just give some background as to what you guys can shoot over to my camera if you want to just do that. Let me give some background on this. We've been giving away things in our webcast. I've been working with Mike for over 3 years now. I came on a webcast back in 2009, I think, where Mike was giving things away on a webcast. So we've been doing this for, 6 years at least. But we recently found like a really cool little tweak on this, and it's something that it came on a partner webcast. Actually, it was Mike Filsame who was with us, who made a comment in the middle of the webcast that made us shift a strategy to what we're doing with giveaways and prizes. That pretty significantly change things almost like that. And here's kind of the overall marketing point, which is this. When you've got something that you've been doing for a while that works, you need to be on the lookout for a new way to kind of tweak it to make it work even better. And I'll tell you what it was. I'll just tell you the promotion, I'll tell you how it worked, and I'll tell you our most recent tweak on it, which is this. First of all, we gave away an iWatch, and many of you have been on Webcast where we have given away an iWatch to our participants. Now, those little devices are not cheap, okay? And so this is one of the first psychology things that you're going to need to think about when it comes to giveaways, which is Mike calls this giving away dimes to get dollars. So if you could go to an ATM machine and drop dimes into an ATM and get $1 out every time you put a dime in, you'd sit there for a while putting dimes in and getting dollars out. That's a good transaction. And so sometimes as marketers we tend to get a little bit cheap, but don't get cheap. If you think you can get people to show up to a webcast, think about what a value of an attendee is. What is the value of somebody listening to your entire presentation, and what could you do? It doesn't have to be an iWatch, but for example, every once in a while Amazon will have a sale, or you'll see a Kindle Fire for like $80. You can get one of those things and give one of those things away. It has high perceived value for a low price. Okay, so that's the first thing on the giveaway. Now, we used to just say throughout the show, we're going to give away Amazon Kindle Fire HD, Amazon Kindle Fire HD. We would say that through the show, but we didn't have a sequence on how we were going to do it. And so once we got to the iWatch thing, what we discovered is that actually asking your audience a question and having your audience answer the question was uber powerful. Number one, people really pay attention. Number two, they wait around for that raffle. And so, for example, one of the questions we'll get is when will you do your giveaway? There's two different times to do a giveaway. I will tell you the most important time to do a giveaway is at the end of your show. I'm not talking about the end of your teaching. I'm not talking about the end of your offer. I'm talking about the end of your show. Like, for example, people will show up, you'll do an introduction, you'll do your discussion, you'll do a discussion of your product, you'll encourage people to buy the product, then you'll take Q&A, which is a normal show. We give the prize away at the end of the show. Now, we don't tell them when people show up, we don't say, we're going to give away, you guys come back to the middle camera if you want. We don't say we're going to give the thing away at the end of the show. We say we're going to give the iWatch giveaway is coming up.
Right.
Okay, so we just say that it's coming up, and then people will stick with you through the show because one of the reasons that they want to do that is that. Now, another thing that we found is that we are asking people to answer a question that's from the presentation, and so and we'll tell them in the beginning, we're going to give away an iWatch. It's going to be a question we're going to ask from the presentation. So take good notes because it's going to come from the presentation, and the first person who answers the question correctly on chat, or you say amongst the first 10 people who answer the question correctly from chat, we're going to give away an iWatch. So just a couple of things that you're giving. And then just to close this loop, and then we can go back to the slides. The second place to do the giveaway, so the first place is at the end of the show. The second place to do the giveaway is right at the beginning of the show. And when I mean right at the beginning, I mean if you're starting at 11 a.m. Pacific, you're going to give that away right away. And to do this, you need to make sure you tell people that in the email that you're going to do that. And the goal there is a typical show will have, for example, let's say you're going to have an average of 300 people on a show. Well, at 11 o'clock, you'll have like 100. At 11:15, you'll be at 200. At 11:45, you'll be at 300, and then it'll fall off after that. So the average show comes up and then starts to drop off. And what you'd like to do is get as many of those people who are going to show up later in the day to show up right at the beginning and stick with you. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So a couple other things that we'll talk about are some of the lessons that we've learned when we've been doing raffles and giveaways. Okay. So the first one is
this is really big.
Never give away what you're selling.
Yeah.
Okay. And we have run into a lot of people, and that's their attitude is, well, I'm going to give away and that's what I'm selling. And I'm saying, okay, here's why you never want to do that. First of all, let's say, for example, well, first of all, it devalues your product.
Yeah,
I think
big
that's
time.
the first thing. The next thing that's really
they're not going to
important.
buy it because they're going to wait around to see if they can win it. And so
Exactly right. It kills your sales.
And not only that, but not something from your course. Okay, so let's say you have a bonus inside of your course. You're not going to give that away either. It should be maybe complimentary, but it should be distinguished, fairly well distinguished. And like we found, get something that people are already kind of excited about. That's why I mentioned a Kindle Fire. $80.
Right.
You can get this small Kindle Fire. I'm doing that this week, as a matter of fact. I'm doing this event for one of my businesses, my basketball referees. I'm going to buy 3 Kindle Fires, and I'm going to give them out during the week. It's a super cheap thing you can do with very high perceived value.
Yep. So this is another one, which is making prizes relevant to your offer. And specifically, here's what I do. I'll make sure, for example, that if I am doing something with video, I'm giving away microphones, for example. Now, I'm not selling microphones. I'm not in the microphone selling business. I will give away selfie sticks, okay? That's another really, really valuable prize to share and give away, all right? Another thing is a Chromecast, okay? Why a Chromecast? Well, first of all, they're super affordable, but what's cool about a Chromecast is this is a means that your audience can watch you on their televisions while they're training. So, again, it's highly relevant.
Well, and it gives you an opportunity to talk about the product. So, for example, with the Chromecast or the microphone, you could say, oh, and the first 7 people are going to get, well, in this case, it's a giveaway. But so you say somebody's going to win a microphone at the end of today's show. And, by the way, this is the kind of microphone that you can plug into your computer and do a webcast right on your computer. And we're saying that on our show because what we're doing is we're taking the giveaway and then we're tying it back to what you're trying to help them visualize them doing.
Yep. So the other thing is you want to make sure that you're supporting but not devaluing your product or creating more objections with this. So, for example, I've seen people give away some sort of a prize and the audience is left thinking, oh, if I don't have that thing, does that mean that your product won't work, or is it so important? So it ends up creating more confusion and more challenges that are more difficult to overcome a little bit later on, okay? And the other thing is you want to make sure that whatever you're giving away never competes with the product you're selling either. Again, you don't want to give someone, and I've seen this happen before, where a speaker will talk about his best-selling book that he wrote, and then he's going to sell a product about the same thing, and people will think, I'll just buy the book. Okay? Well, someone will think that they can get off by buying a $20 book instead of a $1,000 or $2,000 product. You don't want that happening as well.
Another example of this is giving away your time. So let's say you've got a course that helps people be more productive in their business, which is a course that I have actually. And you sell that course for $997. And so, and then on the giveaway, you're gonna, hey, once someone's gonna win a 30-minute consultation with me. Well, again, that's time with you. Why would they get the course if it's time with you? It should be complimentary, not competitive. All right.
Right. Okay. Another very, very important thing is never, ever give away prizes to non-attendees.
Right.
And Ed, why don't you talk about this on this camera here for a second?
So we will say, typically in the copy, we will say, you need to be at the live event in order to qualify for the prize. And so we will take typically people from chat or raffle people from chat. But again, this is the important thing, is all of the things that we're talking about need to be reflected in the copy, the promotional copy. So if you're going to give away an iWatch, you want to make a big deal about the fact that you're going to give away an iWatch. If you're going to give an Amazon Kindle Fire, you want to make a big deal about that in your copywriting, because remember, you're trying everything you can to get people to show up. So when I first started marketing, I had this very naive impression that went like this. I had, let's say, example, I had like 300 people when I first started out on my email list. And I thought, well, I'm going to send this invitation out to these 300 people. And if you ask me, how many people would you get on your webcast? Was I going to get on my webcast? I'd say probably like 280, maybe 290. I mean, most of them would be there. Well, the law of numbers don't really work out that way. If I had 300 people, well, maybe 10 or 15% of the people might open my email. That's 30, make it 45 people. Of those 45 people, maybe half of those will even click on the email. That's 20 people. Of those 20 people, about 60% of them will actually register, which is now 60%. What is that? 12 people. And of those 12 people, statistically 30% of those folks will actually show up, which is 4 people on your show, okay? And so what you're trying to do when you've got numbers like that is you're trying to bump all of those numbers as much as you can, which is one of the reasons why you're talking about your giveaway. Sure, you're going to talk about your bonuses and benefits and the things that you're going to teach them, but at the same time, I always mention that, and I always mention why they need to be live. Now, once they show up for the show, remember, not everybody is as interested in what you wrote about your product or your copy as you are. Maybe they just showed up and they couldn't even remember what you were going to talk about. And so once they show up, once again, we reiterate that right in the beginning. And I will say something like, welcome to all of you who are here. By the way, we're going to be giving away an Apple Watch in today's show. Remember, I didn't say at the end of today's show. I said in today's show. And to be eligible for the Apple Watch drawing, you need to be able to answer a question correctly from the presentation. It'll be something that Mike's going to cover over the next hour, so make sure that you take really good notes. And, oh, by the way, you need to be here live in order to get this, in order to be eligible to win the prize. Okay, so those are just a couple of things that you want to start talking about when it comes to raffles and giveaway. Okay, so let me just bounce through the rest of our presentation here, and then I will we'll wrap up this particular segment, which is the last point on this is, and Mike and I have a fundamental agreement when it comes to this particular point, which is this. We choose not to work with people who are trying to be cheap on their way to success. If you're here watching this webcast, you've already demonstrated that you're willing to invest in your success. And so take that next step. I'm not telling you to break the bank and give away a Maserati on your next webcast. What I am telling you to do is to think in terms of a prosperity-minded approach. So let's say you have a course that is just $97. Well, could giving away a $79 Kindle Fire potentially bring you one more buyer? Yeah, it could potentially bring you 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 times more buyers. And so if one of those will get you 5 people at $97, that's a $500 return on a $79 investment that you need to make in the beginning to be able to get that return. And so just a couple of thoughts on the giveaway. I think we covered most of your slides, Mike, even though they weren't up there the whole time. But you can switch back to center camera for us, guys.
Yep. Well, I think the biggest thing is while you're presenting, the flow, again, it works something like this, which is you'll display a slide, and when you're beginning the presentation, and show the prize, and then you'll talk about that prize throughout your program.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the end of your presentation, that's when you do what's known as the close. You go through everything that you're going to get inside the program and the product. And then finally, after you summarize it, you'll say, now, as soon as I answer all the questions that we have up on the screen, that's when we're going to give away the prize. That way, again, you're keeping as many people as possible watching you the entire time. And then when you get to the close, you're able to say, okay, now that you've had an opportunity to invest in the program, what we're going to do right now is we are going to give away the prize. So what's important is that we're going to ask a question right now, and the first person to type in the correct answer inside the chat will win this prize. And then you ask the question. You have someone watching that chat, because you'll see inputs coming in very, very fast. You take a snapshot of the first person, and you can either display that on screen or you can read off the winner. But and then at that point, what you'll do then is you'll reclose the prize. Now, I will tell you one other very, very important giveaway that I've found to be very, very effective is giving away the actual slides that you're giving away as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we should talk about that too, real quick. Do you want to just?
Yeah, go ahead, Ed.
So what I'll just say is so Shift Command 3 on your Mac if you're a Mac person. Shift Command 3 or print screen if you're a PC person takes a screen capture of your screen. And the reason I say that is you're going to want to have someone doing that just as you mention your raffle, because you'll, for example, one of the first ones we did, Mike, the answer was JJ Virgin to one of the questions, and we probably had 200 JJ Virgins hit the screen all in about a 2-minute time frame, and so you're going to want to be able to see who the first one is that mentioned it. Okay, so let's talk really quickly about the presentation slides. While you are watching this presentation, I want you to pull up another website in another browser, because I'm going to use this as an example of what we do. So the website I want you to pull up is Mixiv, mixiv.com/WPT. It's mixiv.com/WPT. Chances are you've already seen this page, because this is the page that talks about this product that you so wisely invested in. But I want you to take a look at this page. Just push pause on the video once you get there, and then scroll all the way down to the bottom to where it says Get Mike's Presentation Slides, and just hold right there on this particular spot. And so one of the things that we do, and we promise this in the copy as well, is we say that we're going to give you the slides to the presentation. There are a lot of people who ask for these, and they're already being presented the slides, so it's not like we're protecting anything that's trade secret. And so what we do is we encourage people to stay until the end of the presentation where you're going to get the slides, and we will typically say that, which is, oh, and by the way, we're going to give you, if you're watching this presentation, take good notes. But as a bonus to you, we're also going to give you the slides from today's presentation. That way, you have everything. You can review it, and you can go back over your notes with the slides that you already have. Every once in a while in chat, someone will say, hey, can I get the slides right now? And we'll just say, no, we want you to really engage in Mike's presentation and not be looking forward, but we're going to give you the full slide presentation at the end. Now, here's the key. Most marketers I know who give away their slides at the wrong point in the presentation. And the point at the presentation to give away your slides, remember I said the raffle, 2 places for the raffle. One was at the end of the Q&A. The other one was at the beginning of the show if you're going to do that. The place to give away your slides is at the end of your offer. So let me give you an example of what I mean by that. You're going to do your presentation. You're going to talk about the myths. You're going to teaching points, and then you're going to transition. Okay, if you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about right now, just go into the profit section where we talk about how to sell on a webcast. You're going to transition. You're going to go into what we call your close, where you're going to say, here's the product I have, and here's the bonuses, and here's the benefits. Here's what this will do for you. And then you'll go into a section called price and price presentation and extra bonuses, and then a call to action. And you're going to do your call to action. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to this page, click on this yellow button. I want you to go ahead and fill out your information. And once you get there and you get to the end of your close, then you're going to transition into your slides. And here's how this works. You're going to say, now, in the beginning of today's presentation and in the email, I promised that I would give you a download of all the slides to today's presentation. So those slides are available at, and you're going to mention the website, which is the identical website that you just told them to go to, which is your sales website. Now, here's why this is key. Most marketers give their market schizophrenia at the moment that they begin to talk about their product. And so they'll say, okay, so here's my product, and you can go ahead and get this at mixup.com/WPT. Oh, and if you want the slides, they're also available at mixup.com/go-get-my-slides. And what you just did is you took someone who's interested in your product, is about to go to your product page, and you shot them over to another website to go looking for that. And so what we do is we put the download for the slides at the bottom of the sales page. Why would we put it at the bottom? Well, first of all, if somebody's going there to buy the product, we don't want to distract them by putting it up near the top. The second thing, which is the most obvious answer, is we want them to scroll through the sales page so that they can at least get familiar with our copy, to go all the way down to the bottom and then click the button for the slides. Okay? So we found that pretty successful too. Yep. And people have been, you guys can come back to the center camera, and people have been pretty engaged throughout that. And what we see now, which is interesting, when we started putting together the giveaway next to the slides, is what we started to see was so remember I said before you're going to get this sort of curve that goes up to about the 45-minute, maybe hour mark, and then start to drop off.
Yep.
What we started to find was that curve would go up, and then we would just kind of hang and hang and hang and hang and hang and hang and hang. And even on chat, people were like, hey, when's this going to end? Hey, I need to go. Hey, I've got a meeting. They're like holding on and holding on. And then after you give the close, the offer, and then the slides, and then the Q&A, and the raffle, then it drops off right there.
Yep.
And it drops off because you're done.
Right. And it drops off because you gave away what you promised you would, which is the iWatch. But I think that to summarize, by giving away the slides, that way everyone wins. By giving away the watch, there's going to be a lucky winner. You make it very visible.
Yeah.
But the more important thing is we've found that by giving something away, we're seeing around, and I'll ask you this from what I saw in terms of the increase in registrations. And we haven't done a full split test.
Well, so here's the thing about, and I'll make a side marketing point, which is when you have a good idea that you know works, just implement your good idea. Yep. And the reason why we don't have like super hard data is because we did one webcast with one partner and one webcast with another partner, and then we got up this one idea and we implemented, then we added and changed it to it, and we're just guesstimating based on our marketing experience.
Yes.
That we're seeing in basically professional opinion anywhere between about a 20 to 30% bump in attendance and a 20-30% bump in attention. So people showing up, but then also people really kind of sticking around and engaging.
Yes.
And I mean, go back to our training about earlier on when we talk about getting people to show up to your show. I mean, one of the most important things besides getting people to show up is to stay there, but not just watch the presentation. Remember, in a live event, you've got 50 people that you can all look in the eye, and if somebody starts to have a side conversation, you can see it with your own eyes. On a webcast, you don't know if that person put that thing on a computer over there, if they're staring at you and listening to every word, or if they put it in another browser and they're over shopping on Amazon, okay? And so one of the keys is to get people engaged in chat. And one of the ways you can get people engaged in chat is to start talking about this bonus that you're going to say you're going to answer in chat, okay? And then you'll say, okay, the chat is either over to the right or down below, depending on how you're looking at it in your browser. You can just click the login and say hello, say your name, okay? This is all the stuff that we've taught before.
Yep. So I think the net to us is we think we're seeing sales increases of 10 to 20%. So let's just say you had a $10,000 day. If you made an extra $2,000, is it worth giving away a $200 or $300 product? And I know some of the questions that I've seen come up in the chat right now are, what's a good price to pay? Okay, and that's something to take into account. One of the questions that someone came up with, it's Rich asks about tax implications. So here's the thing is, technically, according to the law, I think if you're giving away something that's worth over $400 in the United States.
Okay, we're not lawyers, doctors. No, we don't play one on. This is not legal advice, Rich. Just so you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right.
Yes. So that's the most important thing. We're not attorneys, right? But I think it's around $400. Here's the thing: if you're giving away a prize, it's just a matter of how you report it and check with your accountant on that one. That would be the thing. I think it's around $400 is technically what it is. All right. So next thing.
And if anyone from any regulatory institution is watching, we follow the letter of the law when it comes to all tax compliance.
There you go. So that is the end of the prizes and raffles segment. And now we're going to move into the technical Q&A.
Wait, is this the part that I just stand and watch?
No, well, you can be here and you can keep your eye on some of the other chats and you can help me out here.
This is the only point I'll make on this particular segment, which is this. I went through the questions that we got before today's webcast, and I just laughed and I told Mike, I can't answer any of these questions. And the point that I'm making, that I want to make with that is, some of you are watching this and you're really excited about these technical questions, and that's great. Some of you are watching this and you're not even sure what's coming up. You may be unfamiliar with 20 to 50% of the language. Yep. And that's okay too, okay? And so here's the point. You don't need to be a technical genius to be able to make money. You need to be able to be a marketing genius to make money. And so focus on the marketing. If tech isn't your thing, that's fine. If tech is your thing, that's great. You'll be able to produce your own shows. That's all I have to say. I probably won't talk for about the next 20 minutes.
All right.
Please
so
clap.
I'm going to just check in with my team really fast. Can you see, by any chance, the IVGA input from my personal Mac? Okay, great. So I'm going to... You can. Yeah, that's actually not the one I was looking for. That's interesting. So you got the webcast bonus, but you can't see the one that's the Mac 13.
No, it's connected, but it's not showing.
Okay. Well, that's all right, because you know what? I'm going to be able to make it work right now, and I'm going to go to that question. So tell me if you can see that one. Can you see that? Says 11 comments. Good morning.
No.
You can't. All right, that's the one you were looking at just a moment ago.
Is that the 15-inch?
Yeah, 15.
Nothing's changed on it.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
talk amongst yourselves.
That's okay.
I'll give you a topic.
Yeah. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to answer this question. For some reason, we're having a sync thing. Like I said, sometimes stuff doesn't work right in the studio, too. So, pardon me?
We do this on purpose.
Yeah, I've got the screen up right now. And I'm going to just try, I'm going to test one little thing here. And we'll see if this critter pops up or not.
All right, looking like in the Q&A, by the way, it looks like we're just about full when it comes to questions. Barry Schimmel said he won, by the way. And so...
Right? Do we see anything in IVGA, yes or no?
Yeah, we're right about the edge of where we're going to be able to answer all your questions. So get your last-minute questions in if you have anything. Otherwise, hang with us, and you're going to get some.
I'm going to answer as many as I possibly can, and I will also tell you that inside the membership site is the advanced video training, which will be published 48 hours from now. That'll give you the big picture tour of the studio. So here's one of the questions. This is a super nerdy one from Yvette and Rogerio.
You guys can switch to Mike's camera, please.
All right. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, you can switch over to me. If you can you switch over to me, Solo? There we go. Good. So basically their question has to do with this handy piece of equipment. It's called a magwell, all right? And this is it's a converter that allows you to connect what's known as an HDMI cable, which comes out of a camcorder, all right? So unlike a webcam, which has just a USB connector, plugs right into your computer, this thing is standalone, but the quality is going to be kind of limited. Now, if you are connecting to a real camera, they have HDMI outputs, and you have to convert that output into something that the computer will understand. This is USB 3.0. If you don't have a USB 3.0 computer, your computer will say so. You can't use this, okay? It's too slow. So you've got to invest in a faster computer. So bottom line is if you're not running a reasonably fast recent PC or Mac, you're not going to be able to do good video, and webcam is about as good as you can do. Now, should that limit you on doing a webcast? No, it shouldn't. It just means you got to spend some money if you're going to do high-quality video, because high-quality video takes a lot of horsepower. Now, a really fast machine can probably do 2 simultaneous video streams, but you will have to test it out for yourself. So some of the questions that Rogerio is asking, bottom line is you're going to have to test it out. I can't get into the really hardcore nitty-gritty of what works for you. It's just impossible for me to debug, and I think it's way beyond the scope of what I'm able to do for you. I want to focus on the strategy, not on the really, really detailed the intricacies of some of this hardware, because it's just buy brand new hardware. That's my advice to you, okay? If you get this, have fast hardware. But the big question you're asking about is with using audio. So again, in the training, I've already demonstrated how this works, so you just have to watch the video. It was in the live training, and then there was some in the pre-training as well. So get inside there and know that if you're going to run audio, you can plug your microphone into your camera, and then you'll have audio from camera 1 on interface 1, and camera 2 would be audio from camera 2. That's my advice on this one. And again, I know it's very detaily, but we promised you some uber nerdy stuff. My advice though, pick one up, test it out, try it. You can always return it to Amazon if you're not happy. And again, that's with a magwell. All this gear is inside the Video Equipment Buyer's Guide. All right. Now, this is a really, really good question. It's not specifically techie, but it comes from a woman with a plan. She says, "Hi, Mike and team. In addition to being eager to learn about integrating with Webinar Jam Studio, I have a burning question. In the producer model, how do I ensure that percentages of client sales and royalties are actually paid to me? In other words, what is the mechanism for making that happen so both parties feel confident?" Okay, so this is a really great question, and my biggest piece of advice is do not do business with people you don't trust. If you got a funny feeling that they're going to screw you, they're probably going to screw you. Okay, people who are unethical will sign a contract and have no intention of fulfilling on that end of the contract. So if you feel like someone's a slime ball, just don't go into business with them. Other than that, the way to ensure that you have an agreement is that you've got, first of all, inside a shopping cart, if you're doing a promotion, one of your requirements in your contract is that for every sale that comes through, the shopping cart sends you a message as well as them, because that's one of the things that happens. Every time an order comes through, the shopping cart can actually send an email with an order in that information. And that way you'll see the orders as they're coming through. And one of the questions you'll ask your partner is, so what is the approximate percentage of refunds that you get on a regular basis? Because you can assume then that that same number of refunds will probably happen as well. And it's pretty easy to estimate what your numbers should be. So beyond that, one of the things that you can do is have an open book policy with the contract that essentially says that you can request that they show you their accounting records and shopping cart orders. And you'll be able to see that in their merchant account as well as the shopping cart. And again, if someone's not willing to have an open book policy with you, then don't do business with them. That's my advice on that one. All right. So this is a question from Rich Moore, and he asks about using an earpiece. Now, you've probably seen this before. I don't know if I have one in front of me or on the side. If you can grab the earpiece over here, Ed. I always talk about wearing an IFB or a headset whenever we're doing a production, and that's what I wear during an interview. Okay? Again, it's known as an IFB. And it looks like this, okay? So you've seen this in all my demonstrations, something that goes around like this. Now, what Rich asked me, though, is do I wear that during a normal production, and am I getting information from Jesse or my producer? And the answer is no, and it's in the television, radio, news industry, for example, everyone's always wearing an IFB or questions. In our case, it's a little bit more complex than I'm able to pull off. And again, every time you add a layer of complexity, it's another thing that can break. It's another person you might need around. I mean, there's all sorts of things. So I find that we normally have a monitor turned on, and the producer is able to type notes to me that I'm able to read when we're doing one of our more extensive productions. Okay? But that's a really, really good question. And this is one other question that Rich asked, which is, in Wirecast, how do you bring demonstration? And I select it. But when you are picking a input source, you actually have to select audio in addition to video so it's on. Okay? So it's one of the choices in the menus that you set up. Again, I don't have it set up for you right now, so I can't actually do a step-by-step demonstration. But just know, when you pick a video source, you also have to pick an audio source also. And if you are using Desktop Presenter, which is the tool that allows you to communicate and send a signal from a remote Mac or PC to your Wirecast system, you need to make sure that you check a little box that says Send the Audio. So those are the two little tricks there. So what I'm going to do right now is just go into the membership site and check and see some of the other questions. I don't know, Ed, have you seen any pop in on your side?
You want to talk a little bit about Webinar Jam?
Sure. One of the things that I just activated, there is a full Webinar Jam training tutorial inside the membership site, okay? So it is now officially published and active, and I believe that's under the Techie bonus section. We can check that out. So that was that's a good question.
So let's see. Techie bonus pack. Yeah, here it is. So if you go to the top right of the screen that you're looking at, bonuses, click the button that says Techie bonus pack, and then right the fourth one down, it says how to integrate with Webinar Jam and other software systems. I know there was a question about Wirecast too. Did you already cover that in the previous one?
Okay, answered that one.
All right.
Yep, and then Tiffany just asked a really uber nerdy question. I'm going to repeat it, and I'm going to just tell you, if you're asking me that question here, then here's what it is. This is Tiffany asks, can you explain the benefit of having a Blackmagic Design Intensity Extreme HDMI and analog capture and playback device with your camera?
Bam! Right. Can you benefits and disadvantages?
Right. So here's what I'm going to tell you. I don't even remember what the hell that is. Okay, how's that?
Her to come work here.
Yeah. So.
Wait, you don't know what that is?
I've seen it, but.
Hold on a second. Let me Google it.
I think it's a.
I told you I wasn't going to be able to.
Here's the deal. If you're asking me that level of a question, all you need is, I think it's pretty much the same as their other capture device. The only time you care about analog is if you have a really old camera.
Is that guy?
Yeah. So the device that I've been recommending, which is in the Video Equipment Buyer's Guide, is HDMI or SDI. For having that, I don't think there's any benefit to it unless you're running an old school analog camera, and in my opinion, you ought to take that outside and drive over it with your car. So to me, no benefit, just expensive. That would be, so again, way uber nerdy, but...
One question between Yvette and Rogerio, which is, what is a good balance between the price of the giveaway and the size of the audience or the offer?
Yeah.
I don't really think that there's we're going to be able to give you an equation on this, other than to say...
I can attempt you.
What's that?
I can attempt it. I've thought about it a lot.
Have you really?
Yeah, I have.
I'll say the first step in this equation is to create something that you know you can get a return on your investment. Okay, so it shouldn't be, like I said, not a Maserati if you're selling a $20 book. Okay, but give me an idea what you think.
Yeah, so I think in general, what you want to keep things in perspective. Okay, so it has to be expensive enough, original or interesting enough to get their attention. And if it's a $25 thing there, or it's like, hey, come here for a $25 gift certificate, I'll be like, to me, again, it depends on your audience. Now, if it's people who make less than $25 per hour, that might be a lot to them. All right, but if it's someone who's it can cost them hundreds or thousands of dollars to be away from their office to attend your event. And again, if you're selling a $25 or $100 product versus a $1,000 or $5,000 product, so you really have to weigh it like that. I think my biggest advice is don't be cheap. Yeah. And if you're just starting out, you might just want to give away the slides from your presentation to get going, and then have some sort of a cool giveaway that you'll describe the prize as being really cool without giving away what that actual prize is in your email promotions. So it doesn't have to be deceptive, but I think what you want to do is you don't want to tip your hat too far if you're starting out on a pure budget.
The other way to go on this...
But I think it's the spirit of the thing just as much as anything. So don't let the price get in the way. It might be something, if it could be handmade, original, or unique, that could be meaningful to your audience, that can be really special as well. I know, for example, one of the things that Tim Ferriss did, he got Arnold Schwarzenegger to agree to record a voicemail or a video greeting for you as part of a prize and award.
Cool.
So that was really original.
That's really cool.
So maybe you know someone who would be meaningful to your audience. So again, it doesn't have to be about the money. I think it's just about being unique and interesting, or something that's meaningful and contextually meaningful.
The other way to go with this is just to be funny, or give away something that's comical. So I saw a marketer about 2 years ago giving away Hello Kitty dolls. I mean, it was just something like, the 10th person to ask a great question gets a free Hello Kitty doll or something like that. So you could always be funny about it. Yep. It just gives you an opportunity to talk to your audience. There's one more question I see, Mike, in here that's a tech question. Same asker, by the way, Yvette and Rogerio. So, considering we invest in a faster computer, how can we connect 2 camcorders to a computer without using a TriCaster, but still producing a good quality show?
2 of these.
It's right there.
Kind of said it. I'm not sure why this hasn't... I mean, I've kind of answered that question about 4 different ways and times, so it's the same, okay? 2 of these. It's simple as that. I mean... Take one HDMI, plug it in, so you got at least 2 USB 3.0 ports. Plug it in, plug it in. That's all you got to do.
All right, so I think that comes to the end of our questions. We've got, you're welcome to add 1 or 2 in here. We're just about to wrap it up. I will say, first of all, I mentioned earlier in the show, if you're not registered for the live event, do that now. Even if you don't think you can come. It's a $97 investment. It gets you 2 seats. If you can't come, you can always give your seat to somebody else. It's a small investment to make sure that you can come to an amazing event. And the other reason why is we just decided yesterday, we sat down and had a team meeting as to what panels we were going to do in the general flow of the event with the panels, which are your opportunity to come up on stage. Now, I don't know if you like being on stage or you don't. Either way, it's a very easy environment. You sit there and you answer some questions, and it is a game changer for a lot of people in our community as far as your business. It gives you great exposures. It gives you some great pictures, actually. You get to be recognized as a little bit of an authority in our world, which is really cool, too. You may find some business deals. You may, in fact, find some networking deals simply from the opportunity to do that. And what we do, I'm in charge of all of this here. I do all of our email communication. So what we do is we take the list of people who are registered for the event, and we send those invites to the people who registered for the event. We're not going to send it to you if we don't think that you're coming. And so now's the time to go to Mixiv, mixiv.com/general for general admission, or mixiv.com/VIP if you want to do the VIP package, which includes front or first row seats in the first few rows. You get to come to dinner with Mike and I, the other VIP members, and there's a couple other bonuses that you get as a VIP member, which are great. So if you're a VIP, get VIP. If you want to stay in general admission, that's great. Mixiv.com/general or mixiv.com/VIP. Now, some of you have been asking about our boot camp program. Do you want to mention that? Talk about that real quick?
Yeah. So what we're doing is we've got one that's completely full, the next one that's half full right now, and what we're doing is we're actually producing a show here in the studio, and we'll be working with 11 people total. The training for that actually begins this coming week, where I'm going to be teaching on camera. We're teaching how to do your own TED Talk, or how to be interviewed and be interviewed, how to interview or be interviewed here. And then when you come to San Diego, we're going to spend time in the studio. First day is going to be face-to-face, hands-on training and a run-through. So we're doing an audition, or not an audition, but a practice.
Yeah, we'll do some training today, or on that first day, we'll take you around the studio. We'll spend a good bit of time in our conference room talking about how to be interviewed, how to look great on camera, how to do your presentation. We're going to put you in front of our audience on a webcast, like you've seen us inside a digital cafe or here in front of our folks. Plus, the folks who are on the show with you will also be mailing to their audience as well. And so we expect a good crowd of people to follow you. And we're going to allow you the opportunity to promote something on that show too. It's some sort of a offer to get people to opt into your webpage. And you're going to get to sit in front of our audience on camera. You can do a direct camera talk, like a TED Talk is what we've been calling them, for 15 minutes or so. Or you can do some like a Q&A segment with Mike or I, where we interview you. It's totally up to you how you want to do that. But at the end of that, we're giving you the opportunity to basically promote your offer to our list, which we never do, okay? So the only people that we do that with are our strategic partners, not even our affiliate partners, really. Our most strategic partners are the only people that we do that with, and we're inviting you in to do that. It's a part of our building towards what we are calling our You Everywhere Now television network or online TV network. It's the beginning of that, and so we're really looking for talent. This is part of really, if you take it like American Idol, this is the time where you get to come and do the thing for the first time, so that Randy Jackson can look at you and be like, you are amazing. Okay, and so we want you to come here partly because we want to get you trained, we want to expose you to our list, we want to give you an incredible experience and put you on a show and give you a webcast experience like you've never seen before. You know, you're thinking about doing webcasts or you just got started, what would it be? I mean, imagine what it would be like to come in, to get fully immersed in this environment, to see everything happen and participate in it, where you're not the one so much pushing the switches, but you're getting to see it all, and how much experience will that give you moving into your webcast business? And so that's what we're trying to do. But at the same time, we're on the lookout for the people that we want to put into our network as well. So we have a deadline for this because the training starts next week. And so I think it's Wednesday or Tuesday that the training starts. And so now's the time to enroll. The moment we introduced the first class, we sold that out. We can only take 11 people. 10 to 11 is about the number that we can fit here. And that's not a artificial, that's a straight up number. We can only fit so many on the show.
Because we're going to do a live show that we're broadcasting to our entire audience and our entire social network. And you'll be able to either give away a free report, a consultation, or a free book. So as a result of being on camera. So that's the big advantage. We'd love to have you. The place to check that out, just go to mixiv.com/bootcamp.
Bootcamp.
Okay? So that's mixiv.com/bootcamp. So here's what we're going to do. We have more training scheduled, and if there's some additional questions that I didn't answer, and I do want to extend just one thing with Rogerio with regards to the, I know I was a little bit glib here with the thing, but if you think about it, it's one interface per camera. Here's my advice. Don't worry about multiple camera productions until you're down with one and you're making the most with one camera. I am not a big believer in, get a whole bunch of gear and start playing around with a whole bunch of fancy stuff. without getting
Did
your...
you just say you're not a big fan of getting a whole bunch of gear?
Until you master one camera, okay? If you
Okay, so there's more to that sentence.
If you get sucked into all sorts of fancy gear before you're ready for it, I think you're wasting time and wasting money. Make money with what you have right now. And I know you guys are making money and successful already.
Yeah.
But make sure you're ready for it, and make sure you're making money with the tools you have, and upgrade. I've invested a lot of money, but this has been over a period of now 10 years, and 10 years before that, getting my head around this stuff and making it work. So that's... again, I just want to make sure that you didn't take it as any other way than
no, he replied
one
back
step at a
here.
time.
So
Okay, fantastic.
We're good. Hey, so thank you for joining us today. The key, as always, when we get to the end of these presentations is implement. Just go off and implement. We're receiving success stories now, which is great, by the way, to see some folks that we didn't even know they were doing it, and all of a sudden we see it, and it's amazing.
And the success stories, the people who are doing the success stories are going to be the people
Up
on our
on
panels,
stage. Yeah.
on our stage
Yeah, that's right.
at the event that's upcoming. So that's another reason to make sure you show up for that as well.
All right, so we're going to sign off. Keep putting your questions in. Our next live cast is coming up, so that information about that is on the let's see what side. This side of your screen, right down the side, so you can see when our upcoming trainings are going to be. For those of you who are coming to our boot camp in September, or we recently are opening up another date in November. For those of you who are coming to that, your training starts soon too, so make sure that you check in on your email because that's coming as well. It's mixiv.com/bootcamp, BOOTCAMP.
Right.
Ready to wrap it up?
We are.
Cool.
So thank you for being here today. Again, you'll see a follow-up come out with the advanced video training and the studio tour, as well as some other new modules we've uploaded, and there's more to come. We're going to be announcing something else really cool, really unannounced cool bonus very shortly that I think you're really, really going to enjoy and appreciate.
We are?
So, yes, we are. All right.
Oh, there's a bonus for registering for the live event too. We didn't even mention that.
There is.
Man,
Oh, yeah.
You get it. There's still a couple of these left.
We've got a couple producer
you
bags
haven't registered
left.
for the live event. There's
Last
still...
I checked, I think there's 18 or 19 producer bags. First 100 who sign up get a producer bag. So make sure you get inside.
I might just enroll online anyway just to get the bag.
So inside this bag, I've got some really cool goodies that'll help make your productions look and sound better. So, and again, first 100 to register will get the goodie bag when you walk in the door. So with that, we're going to let you go. Thank you for being here. Make sure, if you feel free, to post any other questions you have. We'll be looking at those in the next Q&A. And again, look for some cool new modules. If you've got a burning question about some specific stuff, go ahead and post it. I'll take a look at it and see if that'll become one of the upcoming bonus modules too. All right.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
I'm here to share with you, introduce to you a gentleman who's a dear friend of mine. He's helped me immensely, and it's the idea of how do I get my information out and engage my customers, and primarily how to use video to do that through the web. Helped me set up my studio and really helped me get going. He's been a dear friend, but more importantly, he's been a consultant to some of the biggest companies in the world. Here's a guy that started literally from nothing, but back in the early days of the web, back in 1991, most people forget, 1989 is when the World Wide Web really was created. So within a few years, he was